Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Liverbird TV. So I thought I'd do a sort of an introduction video because I know I've never really done this, and I don't want to make it about myself, but I want people to get to know who's behind Liverbird TV and what exactly are the things that I've done in my life as a Liverpool fan, and I want to know yours, and you can put it on the comments. So I've been a Liverpool fan all my life. I'm now 40 years old, and it's been a hell of a journey. Uh, I started off my supportership 150 miles away in a town called Grantham, where I was born. Uh, and I used to travel, 150 miles there and 150 miles back to go to games. And sometimes I was at a game on a Tuesday and a Saturday. Sometimes I was there Saturday, Tuesday, or Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday. It was really my life. As a kid, I used to have a poster above my bed of Anfield, the aerial photograph, and I just used to stare at it. I just used to stare at it, and I just used to just always vision being there. And not only did I do that, in 2017, I left my hometown and I moved to Anfield, and I lived there for 4 or 5 years, leading on to working at Anfield and having some of the greatest days I've ever had in my life as a fan. And I'm going to tell you a few. I'm going to share a few of my memories with you so you can get to know me as a channel and know that there was some special things that happened to me at Anfield when I was working there. I mean, I started there in the January of 2019, just before COVID-19 had hit us. I remember I was working for Atletico Madrid uh, at home, and that was just as we started to hear about COVID, and it was incredible. So my job was basically getting the ground ready for matches, so getting every single part of Anfield spotless in terms of, the seats, the Kenny Dalglish suite, the boardrooms, Jurgen Klopp's office, tunnels, pit, around the pitch, even the cladding of the cop, the roof. I was in charge running external as well every day to make sure all the statues outside are cleaned of Bob Paisley and Bill Shankly, and it was an amazing job, and one that really led me to some amazing heights. But when COVID started to hit really strongly, a lot of people were definitely sort of really scared by it, of course, and you would be. But I didn't think like that because I was living the dream. I was working at Anfield. I used to bounce into work every morning. I was doing 55 hours a week, 60 hours a week. But it came to the point where I was the only one in the ground at some point. I'm not joking here. The only people in the ground were security and me. I'm not joking. I was at one point, my boss Kelly, she was giving me jobs to do to keep Anfield from being stagnant. So cobwebs and stuff like this off seats, and just stop it from getting deteriorated with no one being there. So I had this incredible role at Liverpool in terms of making sure the Hillsborough Memorial every morning had its flowers changed, and clean the marble part of where all the supporters' names are on. It was a lovely that wasn't a lovely job, but I mean, it was a really what's the word I can use? It was such a I felt so proud doing the job that I did. So anyway, fast forward, we go through COVID, we go through, I was setting up all of the games. So when we played behind the closed doors matches, I would set out the seats for Thiago and all the players and Klopp and all that to sit separately. I'd have to sanitize each seat to make sure they were safe. I'd have to sanitize all the walkways, the way they were going. So wherever the players went, I would have to make sure it was safe for them. So it was a really important job. But then the best moment for me happened, which is pictured in these images here, which was I didn't expect this at all. This just doesn't happen to anyone. Even millionaires would never get this done for them. But all the players and all the families were lifting all four of the trophies pictured in this image here. Obviously, the Champions League, the Premier League, the World Club Cup, and the Super Cup. And then just towards the end of it, I worked for a lad called Chris Stirrup. He's a chairman of AFC Liverpool, and he was actually in charge of chauffeuring the players to the trophies. And I'm cleaning away, I'm doing the Anfield Road end, and next minute I get a little whistle. Neil, come over here, come over here. I'm like, what? And I'm like, yeah, yeah. Virgil van Dijk's there, Gini Wijnaldum, Mo Salah, everyone. They've all just been there. All the kids are playing, all the families are there. And next minute, they just go, see when these lads are gone, see as soon as these are gone, get on the pitch, lift all these trophies, and you can even score a penalty as well if you want. And I thought they were winding me up because they had me. This is a good story, I'll tell you. They had me a couple of months before because those that don't know, because he's left now anyway, so I can tell you, but Jurgen Klopp's office at Anfield was a secret. It was a secret. It didn't. It's not even on the tours. Anyone that's been on the tours, you never ever see the manager's office at Anfield because up until now, it's only just come out that it even existed. So anyway, I got sent to security to go and get Jurgen Klopp's office key, and I thought this is a wind up. You know, like when you was a kid and you used to get sent for skyhooks, you know, or something like that, or you know, something daft so you could get caught out as being thick. So anyway, I went and all of a sudden I looked at the keys and it did. It said Jurgen Klopp's office on it. So they go, well, it's just just near the boardroom, blah blah blah. It's down. Yeah, I'm not going to go into too much detail. I don't want to get in any trouble with the club. They might bar me from games. But anyway, so I opened the door and wow is all I can say. Wow, wow. So beautiful red carpets. You've got marble spinning chairs, glass tables. You've got a lovely marble bar with all like German. There was cigars and a fridge of beers, programs of where Klopp had been taking his notes. Then you got his closet. You even had a mannequin where he'd have his hat and his jacket hung on, his ensuite bath. It was incredible, and a big image. He's got a big image in his office of winning the Champions League, being chucked up in the air, and it was incredible. So to imagine what I'm like in the ground, I'm living the dream, literally working in a place where I would pay to go in there, never mind be paid to be in there. So that was up there with the best of the moments ever, being when they invited me on the pitch to lift all the trophies, and I scored my penalty as well. And I used to put on my group, those that used to be on my Doubters to Believers, that I was the last player to score a penalty at Anfield. Who was the last player to score a penalty in the 2-19-2-20 season at Anfield? And everyone used to say James Milner or Hendo. I go, no, it was me. But yeah, so from being a red that used to stare at a poster to then being in Jurgen's office and hoovering it, cleaning it, sorting all of his pillars out, and cleaning all the marble and glass, and just thinking of the minds that were in that office. Do you know what I mean? Just doing my bit, just doing my bit. If it was on the roof, cleaning the roof for the Sky camera crews, or if it was doing the boardroom or doing Jurgen's office, even at the training ground at Melwood and also at the AXA Academy as well. I just did my bit for the club, and to be rewarded to go on the pitch. And I was rewarded because of the fact that I was in that building every day, making sure the players were safe. And that was why I got rewarded with go on the pitch and lift them trophies, because it was a job where I was risking my life. COVID, I did get COVID just after Madrid, and it was quite bad. I remember doing a live video actually from my bed when I was doing my broadcasting. And looking back on that now, I didn't look too clever. And I have two very young sons at the time as well. They're still young now, but they were really young then. So yeah, I did risk my life for the club, and because COVID was killing people. We know that. So and I got rewarded for it. But if you're going to ask me what my favourite memory is, obviously the trophies are. But it was this memory, and this was my favourite, right up there with the pinnacle of my favourites. So I'm cleaning all the first and second rows of seats for the Anfield Road end, because that was what we had to do for the games that were broadcast on Sky, because we had no fans. You just had to make sure the first two rows all around the ground was spotless so it looked good for the cameras for when the players are taking throws and all that. Just the way it looked, camera positions and all that. So I was doing that. Anyway, I could hear like French voices in the corner of me, just at the corner flag. And I turned around and I looked around and I thought, it's just probably some French people doing interviews or whatever. Just didn't think nothing of it. So I'm just cleaning all the red seats, getting them all shining. I've got my radio on, this is me on my own, by the way. This is what I'm saying. I was in the ground on my own, literally, because everybody else refused to work or took furlough or whatever and just sat at home and got paid. Oh, well, I don't want to sit at home and getting paid. I was in a one-bedroom flat on the second floor with no garden. I was living the dream. So anyway, I'm just cleaning away, listening to my music, and I get this tap on my shoulder. And I turned around, and it was Gerard Houllier. And as I looked at him, he just had a glowing, lovely smile and lovely, fresh, red face. And he put his hand out, and he shook my hand, and I said, "Welcome home, Gerard." And he just smiled, and he looked emotional. And he was looking around the stadium. He was doing an interview for French television. Anyway, this was during COVID. So what happened? Radio through called, "Neil McMillan, get to the office now. Security want to see you." And I'm like, for fuck's sake, here we go. Here we go. I'm in the shit here. And it was straight away, "Why did you shake Gerard Houlier's hand?" "Because of COVID, because of contact, hand touching and all that." I said, I'm sorry, but I said, he's a legend here. And I said, there's no way when he put his hand out to me that I would disrespect him by pulling my hand away. Not in a million years. And you know what? The two security lads, they just smiled and they just wanted to see my face because they used to call me Mr. Liverpool in the building because I was so infectious with the club and I loved the club. And, you know, uh, yeah, it was a great experience. I got a lot of hatred for this, by the way. You know, a lot of jealous people used to give me shit and all that, but that happens. But yeah, I always think back now that it's a remarkable story. You know, to go from being a fan 150 miles away, looking at a poster, and it's as if I visioned there and then when I looked at that poster that I would one day live there. And when I say live there, I lived on Anfield Road, facing the main stand, more or less. You know that little green where there is near LFC TV. I used to just do my running around there and play football with my sons, Lucas and Joey. Do you know what I mean? It literally was my front garden. So it was an incredible experience, and I just wanted to introduce myself as a lad that isn't a passionate Red. I get grief for sticking up for FSG and stuff like that, but maybe that's because I've lifted the trophies that we've won under them, and I've realised and I've seen firsthand the difference in Anfield now to that poster I had as a kid. So I just thought I'd introduce myself and just say, enjoy the group, get subscribing, get following me because I'm a passionate Red who will be at Anfield many times this season because I'm going back after a couple of years of being unwell. And now I'm ready to go back to games. So I hope to see you all soon, and I hope you all have a great day. Keep subscribing, keep liking.